I thought. um, no, but like on a serious note, I don't even do serious notes like that. But like, hi, hello. I low-key was about to procrastinate with this video. So I was like, oh, like I could just get it done. I can still like get it uploaded by Sunday. And it's like Thursday night. I'm not gonna record anything tomorrow night. And Saturday night, I'd be lying to myself. So I was just like, let's just do it. Hee hee hee. So yeah, I'm here. Unfortunately, should I go and get my little what do you even call it? A onesie? It's not really a onesie. The little thing that I be wearing on my videos. I feel like I've been so consistent in wearing it that it feels weird to not wear it today. Like it doesn't feel right. But it's like kind of far. So and we're just gonna get this done. So hello. Today or over the past few, honestly, these thoughts be coming and I be sitting on them and like new thoughts come and I'm like, I'll do that later. But I feel like this thought has been there for a minute and I didn't know because I also have a Substack that I'm like trying to work on and also thinking like what I want to write there. And I think I will probably end up doing like that idea that I mentioned in like one of my other videos about like my conversation with someone, like how I was like dissociation, no, compartmentalization is basically dissociation. Maybe I'll do write something like that, I don't know. But for this one I feel like in a lot of my other videos and like even the videos I started out with, I've been talking a lot about like humanity, and like being human. um and I don't know if I've like kind of defined what I believe it means to be human. And like what does wholeness even mean? Like what was it? The Delulu critical theory one? Maybe there might have been that one. And I honestly probably talked about it in those three videos. Honestly, it's a pattern. So yeah, I think that's just where I am like in this part of my life, just thinking about, humanity and just thinking about how societies have just come such a far away from just allowing us to be human, like to be what we are, right? And so with that in mind, because like I think it's kind of easy to like think of like what it means to be human in like an ideal world, but we don't live in an ideal world. This is not an ideal world. There's just so much suffering that goes around like all four corners of the earth. I know the world is round. I know. Okay, leave me alone. But yeah, that's what I said. Okay. But yeah, so much suffering abounds, and like I don't think we as human beings were made to suffer. Like we weren't made for this. Because I feel like if we were, like there wouldn't be so much disconnection from who we are, like symptoms of disconnection and symptoms of dis-ease that comes from suffering. Like I feel like they wouldn't exist if we were meant for that. So like no, we're not meant for this. And I am like, how is the earth not groaning? Like, well actually she is. Climate change, right? Just from like everything that's not only in this time but like since the beginning of time. Like I know Miss Earth is tired. She's so tired. Um and as I say this is so funny because like literally there are like the wildfires in Canada. Like I literally woke up from a nap yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. It was a good nap. I haven't had a good nap like that in a minute. And it was also after the Argentina and what was it, England game, and I was really, really rooting for England. And I woke up and I checked my phone, and my brother was like, "Bruh, Argentina beat them. What was it, 2-1?" And I said, "Ew, it's not what I wanted to wake up to." But anyways, yeah. And then I looked out the window, and I'm like, "Is it raining? Like, why does it look so like I can't see?" But come to find out, it's just wildfires. And like usually, like I don't mind the smell of like fire or smoke. Like I actually like it, like the smell of like a barbecue or something. But I went out today and it's not giving barbecue. It's giving like we're in an oven. It's not giving. It's not giving what it needs to give. So yeah, I came right back home. Um, but yeah, stay safe out there. If you have an air purifier, definitely turn it on. Tea. um, but yeah, back to the topic. I'm sorry, guys. I don't think I will ever not go on a tangent. Like, I feel like it wouldn't be a video on my channel if I didn't go on a tangent. Right? So, yeah, bear with me. I tried. If you couldn't tell, I was trying to make a heart, but it's not. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. So, no, but this idea of like, what does it mean to be human? Not only in an ideal world, but like in a world where that is very much not ideal, right? And yeah, so I thought like this could be a video kind of like exploring that. I don't know, I might have other videos that like touch more into it. Maybe it'll be like a series. I don't know. It'll just be what I think about doing. So we'll find out together. But yeah, so I think starting off, it would make sense if we talked about what I think it means to be human, like in an ideal world, like absence of like suffering. Like, what would it mean to be human? What would it mean? Okay, yeah, I'll unpack that. So I won't get ahead of ourselves. So yeah. So yeah. So in an ideal world without suffering, what does it mean to be human? And so I think I've probably touched upon this like a little in my other like videos. Not like the 80s one and the Love Island one, but like maybe the Love Island one. I feel like neutrality kind of goes into, but I think mainly the first one's the objectivity one, the Delulu one, um, and maybe the self actualization one. So, was that self? Yeah, I think I named it that. Or the courage to like follow your own path. Um, oh yeah, self preservation. That's what it was. Um, yeah, I talk about like this idea of wholeness, like protecting the integrity of the soul. And I don't know if I also said this in another one, but I mainly this past semester and like my graduate studies, um oh my god, hold on. I hope y'all can't hear that. If you can, just pretend you can't. It's my sister brushing her teeth. um, but yeah, um, in terms of like what I was like studying, I kind of was lucky because it was mainly all the classes I was focusing on like my research interests, which was really around trauma. It was really like trauma within education. No, sorry, engineering. Um, and I kind of like took different facets of that. So one was kind of like trauma like from an engineering student perspective in relation to the context of academia. So like being a student, whether a graduate student, undergrad student within an engineering program, and also comparing it to like engineering education, because like engineering education is like a relatively new field, and it's kind of, I would say, kind of like a field created to almost like remedy the ills of engineering. And there's a lot that can be said about that, and how ironic that is. But this is not the video for that. Um, but yeah, there's a lot there. Um, and so one of that was like talking to students about their um, kind of experience within their undergrad engineering program, and also their experience in engineering education. And then there was a focus on like engineering faculty, which I focused on in two of my classes, where I think it was kind of similar. One was like focusing specifically on like Black engineering faculty, and one was just engineering faculty in general. Um, and yeah, so I feel like through all of that, I did like so much reading, trying to like understand the experience of Black faculty, um, interviews, like informational interviews, very informal interviews, um, with like engineering faculty, and then like a little kitchen table talk with engineering students. And then within one of my classes, it was like trauma centered, no, trauma and healing centered pedagogies. And so like there was a lot of good readings that really just built up my understanding of trauma, not within like a medical sense. Like, so I would say like something like the body keeps a score is like trauma within like a medical sense. Whereas like, braiding sweetgrass, or like my grandmother's hands, um, or even Stacey Haynes's The Politics of Trauma, I feel like looks at it from more, should I say, like a sociological lens, or like just a lens that feels honestly more human. Like it's like just the experience that we all have, that we can like, it's like a story that we can understand and kind of like relate to, type of thing. And it's like, oh shoot, like, is that what that is, type of thing, which I really like. um and so it was through all of that where I was like, and it was so funny because the other class that I was like kind of mainly studying Black faculty for was a class where we had to basically create like a measurement tool. And so in that one, oh my god, I'm getting distracted. I hear footsteps. Oh my god. What was I gonna say? Oh my god. Yeah, maybe if I just keep talking, it'll come back. In that class, um, what was I even talking about before? Oh my god. You want this happens? Okay, whatever. I'll come back to it if I need to. What would I need from that class to talk about? Oh yes, yes, yes. The first, so it was a class like kind of like measurement tools in terms of like a social justice lens, and so we had to define what social justice is. And so for me, like the definition I came up with was, um, God, what did I say? I don't know what the full one was, but like it's kind of like protecting the integrity of the human soul. Did I say that? It might have been, yeah, yeah, I think not the wholeness yet. Yeah, I think it was just protecting the integrity of the whole human soul. Um, and then it was so crazy because when I was like deep into like the trauma literature for like the trauma and healing centered pedagogies class, I felt like that kind of kept coming up in terms of like trauma kind of felt like it was kind of like the opponent of social justice, in the sense of like it is the thing that arises, or it is, hmm, that arises when some event fractures the wholeness and the integrity of the human soul. And so when that came full circle, I was like, whoa, right? And so I think I say all of that to say my understanding of like being human, both like in an ideal world and even in a non-ideal world. Within an ideal world, it is, having that wholeness, the integrity of like the soul in its fullness, mind, body, and spirit being intact and in harmony. Versus in an ideal world, it's, having as much as that of that harmony and that wholeness be intact, or working towards that, or being on the path to that, or being somewhere around that. And I say somewhere around that because I think even if there is like a harmony within the soul or the mind, body, spirit, and there's a wholeness of the soul, there's just always something that just you'll find out needs to be mended. There's always a rift somewhere, or even you'll experience a new event, and like you'll kind of have to like rework that. It's just life is just life be lifing. And like you always just kind of have to move and adapt and learn to reach that homeostasis of wholeness. So that's why I say that. um so yeah so now that I've divined that, um what are some, especially like in a non-ideal world, like how can pursuing that wholeness show up? I think one, like being human and like pursuing that wholeness is, to know who you are as a human being. And I feel like, you know, maybe some of us as we grow up, like we don't have, or like we hear a lot of like what others think we are, and we may internalize that. Um, but like, barring everyone else's opinions of who you are, who do you say you are? What evidence do you have that you are who you are? Um, like, what's important to you? What are your values? And so knowing those values, like consciously, or like even, and that's another thing. I don't know if I should just make it another one or just put it into this section, but I'll just say it. Knowing those values and like, okay, knowing those values is very important because, kind of like in my courage to like choose your own path and self-preservation, it's like there are just some times in life where you're going to be in a sticky situation and you're kind of just going to have to choose a choice, even if someone else looks at it and it's like, oh, that's weird, like why would you do that, that's dumb. Like, because then there's X consequences. Like, can you face that? If you know your values, like, yeah, the situation that I might face if I don't choose this is going to suck, but the situation if I choose this, and even if it looks and it makes sense to everyone outside of it, internally I am dying. Internally, my wholeness has been fractured, and life probably doesn't feel worth living at that point, right? Well, let me not say it like that. Guys, I am so mad because I feel like I just said so many good things, and I wasn't recording. Like, I guess when it fell, it just stopped recording, and I'm kind of annoyed. But at least I know why my iPad was mad at me. I was like, this is gonna be the new angle now. Like, hello, hi. And I was like, I don't know why it fell. Like, I don't know why my iPad's mad at me. Yeah, maybe it's because I just said something depressing. And I was like, life isn't worth living, but it is what it is. At least I guess it'll make editing easier if I don't have to split it into parts because it's already split into parts. Whatever. No, but where I was saying that, yeah, like having your values is very important. Um, and also segueing into the next point, um, knowing, like, okay, cultivating that wholeness between the mind, body, and spirit means that you're actually going to have to build that connection, or like if it's weak, yeah, just like build that connection, like between mind and body, like mindfulness. What does it feel like in my body when I'm out of alignment with who I want to be? Um, so like if I feel like, oh my God, I feel more tense in my shoulders or something, like what was that saying, and kind of just, if I feel like, ugh, I feel gross in my chest or something, like I just, my spirit just doesn't feel aligned. Like, okay, so do some reflecting with your mind, like, what does that mean? Like, what isn't, what am I engaging with or engaging in that isn't who I want to be or where I want to be? And what tools do I have in my tool set to move towards a path that makes sense for me? I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed, guys. Because I felt like the angle even looked better with last time. Oh my God. But it is what it is. The show goes on. But yeah, hold on. No. But yeah. What else did I say? Okay. Um, then there's, okay, I think this, I didn't get into this, so this is good. And hopefully I didn't miss anything from what I said before. It was really good though, if I did miss it. But anyways, I always have to check if I'm like, I feel like there's like a certain side that like actually does what it needs to do, and maybe I should just like actually talk stronger into it instead of like whispering. But what can I do? That's kind of like my default setting. It is what it is, but we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna optimize this eventually. Um, but yeah. What was I gonna say? Okay. Yeah, okay. So when I was like thinking about this, I thought about like the Garden of Eden. Because I would say, like that would probably like the most ideal state for like a human being, like the most ideal environment, the most ideal society. And if you didn't know this, Eden means pleasure. So it's like the garden of pleasure. And so I think to be human, especially in a society or a place in a world that is just built to actively sever all the things that make us human, I think it's very important to take pleasure seriously. Like, and like, I don't mean this in like a raunchy way or anything. Like, it's just the small things. Like, I feel like the way our societies are built, like, so many of us don't have the time or the energy to do like the small things that are fun, that are like, that feel good, that like when we were kids we loved doing. And I feel like, it's honestly just the little things that just feel so pleasurable, like sitting in the sun and it's not too hot, of course, because sometimes the sun be scorching and that's not pleasurable. But like the sun when it's just right on your skin, and it's just you just let that, you can literally just feel like your body just relax and like let go of all of its tension and anxiety, things like that. Taking a walk and like just seeing all the green trees. Now, I'm not a nature girly, so like, I'm not saying, like, when I say green trees, I'm not saying you gotta go into like the forest or something. Like, I would not do that. But if that's your cup of tea, please go ahead by all means. But like, if you have any place like where you see some green trees and the birds be chirping, like, I don't know, take a walk there. And like, even like just hearing the wind rustle through the trees, and then like they kind of like dance with their leaves, and then like a bird chirps. It's just so, and like it almost like it's like a silence, but it's not a silence, like obviously. But it feels like you're in like a vacuum, and then like those are the sounds you hear, and it's just so calming, and just breathing, doing some deep breathing outside, and it's just so that's pleasurable. um what else? you know Building connections, like having meaningful connections, and like spending time with those connections, or that's beautiful. Or like going to see a sunset, or like, yeah, going to see a sunset, or like if there's like a riverfront, even like when it just seeing the sunset there, and like seeing all the people that are like running around, doing their little jogs, and just feeling like, oh, like, yeah, I'm a human, I'm connected to other humans, and we're all probably just doing our best in our lives. And it's just that feeling, that connection is always, it's pleasurable. um yeah, things that give you joy. Healthy things, healthy things, healthy things. Because maybe that's another video for another time, but like, if it's not healthy, does it really give you joy? What is joy? But yeah, or like eating like a meal that you're really craving, or like, like for my girlies, when you're on your period, and when you be cramping, and you just get like a warm drink, or like you eat like a meal, like maybe it's like a bowl of soup or something, and it's just the way that your stomach feels, and it just feels that warmth, and it just like, that's pleasurable. So yeah, yeah, just connecting with pleasurable things, even the small things that we kind of forget exist and are around us, and kind of just remind us that of who we were created to be. And oh my God, what's the other thing? I swear I had something after this, guys. Yes, pleasure. What else? Oh my God. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. In the meantime, though, I feel like if I yap, it'll come back. I finally, so okay, when I was younger and we had a cable, like Pride and Prejudice would come on, and I could not log in. And I'm like trying to watch it now because I saw this YouTube video talking about like the art of yearning is lost or something. Maybe I'll like link it. Um and I was like, oh, that sounds so cute. And I'm just in my bag and I just want to watch something. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably why I couldn't log in, because it's like I just need them to talk a little louder. I need subtitles or something. It's too much. It's too much. Let's see, if did I remember being human, being human, being human, pleasure. What else? What else? What else? Guys, I can't remember. I might have to end it here. Dang, I'm annoyed. Connections, pleasure. There was definitely something else, so is it? Is it? Oh my God, I think. Wait, no. I feel like it was good too, but I can't remember it for shit. Okay, so I don't want to like keep y'all here because I feel like I'd be keeping y'all here, and I mean I do like yapping with y'all, but I, it's been silent for too long. And I can't remember. I'm so annoyed. Yes, pleasure, pleasure, mind body connection. Okay, it's back. Okay. I think the thing that kind of maybe I touched on a bit in like pleasure in terms of like nature, but I think And this is the one like I'm not too sure about, so I would love to like hear your thoughts in the comments. Um, is connection with nature, and I say I'm not too sure about it because I, maybe I'm not too sure about like the ways, but like in books like Braiding Sweetgrass, there's kind of like this connection between, being like healing this trauma and also like being in connection with the earth. And of course, the earth itself is very traumatized. You can't tell me that the earth ain't tired. Um, but, and I feel like just, again, just the earth and nature in itself just teaches us so many lessons about being human that, like, it just makes sense to be in relationship to the earth. And I just don't necessarily know what that means in its entirety for the societies that we live in. So like if you're in like a city area and like you barely have nature around you, like what does that mean for you? Does that mean going to a more suburban area or a rural area and just going there from time to time? Or does that mean you schedule time to go, like, I don't know, stargazing somewhere? I don't necessarily know what that means for our time, but I do know it's important to do it in some way, shape, or form. Like, I don't know, maybe go to like what do they call those again? A botanical garden thing. And kind of just look in awe of nature and just see how nature just takes its time. Like no one rushes nature. Like, and nature also needs to rest. I do know like there's this thing like you're not supposed to like, you kind of have to let land rest. You can't like continuously keep on like plowing it for farming and stuff. I think it actually yields more if you let it rest. So like it teaches us about resting. And yeah, there's just so much to be gained from nature that can tell us about how we ought to live. Like even the seasons, right? Like there are certain things that you won't get naturally in certain seasons. Um and I feel like that can teach us like there are just certain seasons that you need different things. Like winter, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why we're always still doing the same things we did in the summer. Like I feel like summer is just a manic time. Like you're doing everything because the sun is out for longer and like you just feel great, and like you're just doing a lot, and that's great. But I feel like fall and winter are just times where things are just more somber and like maybe like more reflective, and kind of just it gives you time to like chill from like everything you were doing in the summer. So I feel like things should be slower then, but like look at us, we be going hard, we be going strong. Like I'm just I get annoyed that society just doesn't care about being human. Like it pisses me off. um yeah, yeah, I think that was my last point. But like, yeah, being in some type of relationship to nature, um whether that's maybe it's like taking walks in nature regularly, in whatever nature that you have. Maybe it's like, I don't know, looking up at the sky for like 5 minutes and kind of just staring and just not doing anything. Or maybe it's, I don't know, putting on National Geographic. Like, I don't know. But and also just taking care of the land, I think. But I also like, that's just something I'm still learning about. So I don't know. I don't know, but I just know that it's got to be part of the answer, of being human. Like, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. um I don't know, maybe I'll continue it, maybe I won't, as like a series or something. It just depends on if I think I have anything else to add to it. Oh, actually, maybe I do. Maybe I do. I just thought about something that I thought about a while ago. Um, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, this is gonna be exciting. But yeah, no. If you made it this far, thank you. And bye.